Hi guys, it's Legionero. Welcome back to my channel, and I also want to welcome all of my new subscribers. Today is my weekly sewing recap. I actually didn't sew anything this week, but I wanted to talk to you guys about my process, how I go from start to finish, whether it's creating a bag pattern or using a commercial pattern to make some clothes. So let's talk about the clothes first. All right, so for commercial patterns for making clothes, I have a ton of patterns and I seem to only make a few, even though I say I'm going to go in my pattern stash and see what new patterns I have, or new slash old, because I have patterns in there from 2015 that I still haven't used. Hopefully I'm not the only one, but I usually will look through the drawer sometimes to see if anything catches my eye, but if not, I'll make a pattern from a new pattern that has come out. So usually when I get home from the store from pattern shopping, I will go ahead and trim my pattern. That way that's one less step that I have to do once I decide what type of fabric and everything I'm going to use. So I go ahead and trim the pattern down to my size and I put it away. Or if I already have some fabric in mind that I want to use, I go ahead and grab that fabric and I go ahead and cut the fabric as well. But if not, I just trim the pattern, I set it aside until I find the right fabric. So that saves a lot of time. If you have the time to do that, go ahead and trim your pattern down. That way that step is done. Because I don't know about you, but I get exhausted when I try to sew something from start to finish, meaning trimming the pattern on down to sewing and completing it, as well as taking pictures of it for the blog. I'm exhausted if I try to do that in one day, so I don't. Once I have the fabric and everything that I need for the pattern, I go ahead and cut it out, and I use these. This is a Hefty gallon bag. I go ahead and put the fabric and the pattern in the bag. If it's a large pattern, like let's say it's a bomber jacket or something like that, I have 2-gallon bags that I use, but for most of my projects the gallon bag is fine. I just fold it up and I put it in the bag. I make sure I have the pattern in here, and you can also use it. You can also use a marker and just write on here if you want to, but I like to reuse my bag so I don't write on them. And if you want to, you can go ahead and put the thread that you're going to use in here as well. If you need elastic, if you need buttons, whatever you're going to need for that particular pattern, you can go ahead and put it in the bag as well. I didn't put any of those things in this bag. The only thing that I would need is thread, and I have a ton of black thread, so I just go in and grab my black thread and when I get ready to sew. One thing that can save you time as well, let's say you're going pattern shopping when the new pattern comes out, go ahead and go to the website, like let's say it's Simplicity. Go ahead and go to Simplicity's website and look through the patterns to see which one you like and kind of jot them down. If you are traditional and you like writing on pen and paper, go ahead and write down your patterns. I have an app on my phone called Color Note, so I go in there and I just make a new note and I put down all of the pattern numbers of the patterns that I like that are coming out. So that saves me time. I don't have to sit down in the store and actually flip through the book to find the pattern. I already have the pattern number in my phone, so I can just go straight to the pattern drawers. Another thing that can save you time when shopping for patterns is going ahead and looking at, you can see the back of the pattern envelope on the website. Go ahead and look and see what fabric you need to use, what notions you need, how many yards of fabric you need, and go ahead and put that. You can put that in the app or write that down as well. That way you have that list ready also. So those are some tips on how to save time when pattern shopping. So if you're discouraged about how long the sewing process takes, try to break it down into little bitty steps. Like I said, when I get home, I go ahead and trim the pattern down. And if I already have the fabric on hand, I go ahead and cut out the fabric and I put it in the Hefty bags and set it aside until sew day, whatever sew day is going to be. Right? That way you have everything done. So that is my process when I am sewing garments using commercial patterns. So let's talk about the process when I'm doing bag patterns. When I create my own bag patterns, that's a process within itself. I may do a video on that one day. But once I have the pattern drafted and trimmed, I put them in this manila envelope. This is the one for the Kayla bag, and I just put all the pattern pieces in an envelope and set it aside until I get ready to cut out all the fabric, the interfacing and lining and everything that I need, because I find that sometimes purse patterns, the process in the beginning takes a little bit longer than a commercial pattern, especially if I'm drafting the pattern myself. And right now I just store these in the paper boxes. You know, when your company orders the paper and they come in those big boxes with the tops on them. So I just grab one of those boxes from work and I just store all of my manila envelopes in that. I'm looking for something like a plastic container or something like that to use, but for now that works just fine for me. All right, so patterns cut, put to the side, I put it in the envelope. Now when I get ready to prep the project and I go ahead and cut out the exterior fabric, the lining, the interfacing, everything I need, I do the same thing I do with the commercial patterns. I put everything in the hefty bag. Unless it's a huge pattern like a backpack or something like that and the pieces won't fit. If they don't fit in that 2-gallon hefty bag, I don't put the large pieces in the hefty bag. But I have here all my pieces cut out. I have the exterior, which is vinyl, and I have the lining pieces cut out as well. I don't have any interfacing cut because I'm not going to use any interfacing for this particular pattern. But if you're using interfacing, you definitely can put that in here as well. And you can also put your thread and everything else that you're going to use. If you have to use a specific needle, you can put that in here. If you have any hardware like grommets or rivets or D-rings, you can put those in here as well. And set it aside until you get ready to sew. So the process is very similar once I get everything trimmed. Even if I am not drafting my own pattern and I'm using a pattern from another company or something like that, just like I do with the commercial patterns, I go ahead and trim the pattern once I print it out. And if it's a commercial bag pattern, I go ahead and trim the pattern. I go ahead and make sure everything is trimmed. That way all I have to do is cut out my fabric and everything that I need for that particular pattern. Now, if you haven't seen it already, I do have a 3-day bag making planner. It's a free planner. You can download it. Whatever bag I decide that I'm going to make, I use that 3-day planner and I fill it out and go by each day. And once I have day 1 filled out and whatever goes with day 1 and day 2, whatever day the process is for cutting and everything, I go ahead and put the planner inside the bag as well. That way it's in here and I know what steps that I may have omitted because I didn't have hardware, I didn't have enough interfacing or enough fabric. I put the 3-day planner in here as well with the specific project that I'm working on. So if I have specific projects that I want to work on a particular week, I actually have a whiteboard as well. And I'll put the date of the week, whatever day of the week it is. So may say the week of September 7th or something like that. I'll write that on the whiteboard. And if I have specific plans and I'm not going off of a whim, then I actually list that on my whiteboard like this. So that's another option as well. So you have several different options to kind of plan out your projects and plan out your sewing week or your sewing month, whatever it is you're going to do. A lot of people I see on my timeline now have planners and they're decorating their planners. They look very nice and neat. My sister actually does that to her planner. She goes in and she plans her week and she puts in little stickers that relate, and I think it's really cute. I don't want to add anything else to my plate, but maybe one day I'll do it. There's another lady that I follow on Instagram. She also has a YouTube channel here. I'll put her name on the screen because I don't want to say her name wrong and I don't want to say her handle wrong. So I'm just going to put it on the screen for you all. If you don't already watch her YouTube channel or follow her Instagram page, she does a lot of information on planners and stickers as well. So just different options that you have for planning your projects, whether you plan by the week or by the month or by the day, however you do it. Hopefully some of the things that I do and some of the tips I share in this video will help you. If you like this video, click the thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next recap.